Hey guys, this is Jake Jansen, CEO at Lava. Welcome to Lava's Thought Leadership Series, where we explore trends shaping the future of technology and business. Today, I'm with Nate Dodd, Director of Strategic Accounts with Tangoe, a very valued partner of ours. And today we're going to run around and talk about telecom expense management, how to manage SaaS, cloud spend, etc. in that space. So, Nate, thanks for joining us today. Give us a little introduction on yourself.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me. So, Nate Dodd, Director of Strategic Accounts, like you just said. I've been with Tango for, coming up on 8 years, been in the exciting world of expense management for a little over a decade. Um, Probably 15 years now, going back even to like BlackBerries, BlackBerry Enterprise servers. Got my cut
Wow.
in the service and support side, running a help desk with a company called G Squared Wireless that I started and eventually exited there. And we did all the server support, end user help desk, logistics, that kind of stuff. So, been in the industry a while, and glad to be talking to you today.
Tell me a little bit about Tango. You're obviously, I think, one of the biggest names in your space. But for those that are not familiar with Tango, what is Tango in a nutshell, and what do you do?
Yeah, so IT expense management, right? Really, it started as a telecom expense management company 25 years ago, because that's all there was, right? Telecom, and that's what people were doing. There was a couple of guys that were working for carriers. They saw the all the mistakes that were being made on invoicing and bills and things like that, and they separated off, started a company called Tango, where they essentially just manually audited bills. They've grown over the last 25 plus years by, acquisitions, mergers, things like that, into one of the well-known names in the industry. Today, we not only manage telecom, but we are managing mobile devices, and we're into cloud. And by cloud, I mean the UCaaS, SaaS, and IaaS, which we're seeing a lot of growth in.
Awesome. I guess tell me a little bit about so telecom. So we sell Tango, and we sell all of your competitors. It is no matter what, it seems like that space is still super hot. Like it's not the sexiest sale in the world selling internet or the management of it, but everybody has it, everybody needs it, and it is still a pain for everybody to manage. So that's obviously one of the core competencies of Tango. But over the last, I'd say 5 to 8 years that I've been working with Tango, I've seen a huge push to helping customers with their UCaaS, SaaS, and cloud spend. So that's obviously a great upsell opportunity for you, but additional value that you can add to your customer base. Tell me a little bit. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing in the management of SaaS, and maybe some of the risks that organizations face. If they underestimate what that spend's going to look like from a sprawl, from a user licensing perspective. Tell me a little bit about that and how you're helping customers control that spend.
Yeah, so it's funny you said, about 5, 6 years ago, everybody said, "Oh, Tim's going to die. It's not going to be a thing anymore." And you remove it on, and there was companies looking to consolidate and thinking, companies like Tango wouldn't be around. But it's kind of like plumbing, man. Like everybody's got it, and there's a need for it, every which way. And when you break it down, it's just expense management of these IT costs, and whether it's an old POTS line which is going away, or whether it's a SaaS license or a UCaaS connection where you're managing a full contact center. Everybody needs those things. They're tied directly into finance departments and all of that stuff. So yeah, I don't see it as something that's going away. I think I see it as something that's evolving with newer technologies that you guys know, and you guys sell these newer technologies, and people still need the tools to manage those technologies. You bring up SaaS. So SaaS is one of those things that when COVID hit, all these companies turned around and shut everybody down and went home. And so now all of a sudden they're buying all of these software platforms to manage these people that are sitting at home. And it really was just Wild West. Everybody's just turning things on, buying licenses. Anyone with a P card's out there swiping it, buying something to manage their team, and then exiting that. There was really a lot of control lost, and visibility lost as to what's going on. And so the way Tango handles that is we've got a SaaS product that comes in and helps you gain visibility right across your entire SaaS suite. We've got 5 different ways we do discovery. We can come in and pull in all your SaaS applications, look for shadow IT applications you didn't even know you had, overlap in certain areas. I had a customer that had 3 different project management tools that they were using, all with different
Are
contract
are,
life cycles and things like that.
are you pulling that from like AP? Are you integrating there, or how are you getting access to seeing things that like even could call shadow IT or procuring or services that are billing that they didn't know? Like, where are you getting that information from?
Yeah, there's a couple different ways, right? The most common is just a SSO, right? All the single sign-on, and being able to get visibility into what people are using their domain for to go in and log into, and then pull those lists of apps there. We can get feeds from AP, so there's another integration point there. What's going out? Where's the
Right.
money going? If you already know what you've got or certain things you've got, we tie in with APIs. We can even go so far as to put an agent on the device and sniff all of those things out when if somebody's using a browser or something like that in an incognito mode to try to get by some of those things. We can drop an agent on the device and do that discovery.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. And like, is the same true of cloud cost as well? My previous days in the VAR space, there was a lot of conversations around selling cloud cost optimization and ways to control and manage that. And there's a lot of sprawl in that space. And there are a lot of managed cloud providers or companies that offer managed services for their cloud environment that are going to do some sort of right sizing. I guess my question would be, what's the difference between what Tango is doing around cloud spend versus what like a managed cloud provider would be offering a customer, or is it kind of a little bit of both? But help me understand that a little bit better.
They're both, right? So if you look at, there's a million tools out there for right sizing, for saying, hey, what am I using? When am I using it? Turn it up, turn it down. There's native tools that will come with your Amazons, your Azures, that kind of stuff. And you can utilize those and you can get some basic insight. And if you're on it, you can do all of that stuff. And then there's, third parties like ourselves or other companies that will plug right in and give you that visibility into your usage. Where Tango, and those are, I would say, core blocking and tackling, right? If you're going to be in that space, you need to do all those things. Everybody kind of does those things.
Yep.
Where Tango differentiates itself is in our expense management background. And so our cost allocation, we are experts at taking those costs and getting very, very granular, going way down deep into the data, and then being able to visualize those and then work with finance to make sure all of those exact costs are charged back to the business. And a lot of those other third parties, that's not what they do, right? And so we've differentiated ourselves on the expense management side because that's our core. And then we do the core blocking and tackling of those things you'd expect, which is grabbing the visibility and seeing all that stuff in as far as like usage and all of that.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess same is true then for voice, UCaaS, CCaaS, that whole space as well.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Where we really, really shine is the expense management. That's what we do. That's what we've always done well. And so when you bring a Tango in, that's what you're looking for. It's like, hey, I know that I've got these servers going on over here. I know I've got this contact center over here, but I need to charge this back to this particular line item. Oh, and it's a profit center. I need to do an uplift charge and push that back out, right? That's where we come in. That's what we do really, really well.
Awesome. I get asked every now and then by customers to help manage utilities. Do you do that as well?
We don't, right? So we
Yeah.
can process those invoice. An invoice is an invoice is an invoice, just a piece of paper with money on it, right? We can process an invoice, but true utilities managers, they live in that space. We just don't have the expertise there outside of processing an invoice and allocating a cost.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, I guess what is something that I guess someone that is completely unfamiliar with Tango, what is it that they should know about you? Or something that you think is very important for an enterprise customer to understand about leveraging Tango and your capabilities, and what are those key drivers that they should be considering when looking at somebody like a Tango?
Yeah, so any telecom expense management, any TEM worth their salt is going to do ordering. They're going to manage your inventory. They're going to process your invoices, and they're going to interface back with your AP department, right? Those are just kind of the core tenets of any of those. Of course, we do those, and we do them very, very well. When you talk about differentiators and what people don't think of quite as much, automation is one, right? So we have very, very robust workflows with if-then type logic built into our platforms natively. We're not having to pop out into like a Zapier or something like that a lot of our competitors have to do in order to build those workflows. It's native to our platform. And so building automation into what you're doing day in and day out with very easy logic to follow that's visual that you can click and kind of and build out
Yep.
is huge. We're definitely leaders in the AI as far as that goes. We've got several patents around that and how it relates to expense management. And then, of course, it's the thing that everybody thinks of, which is savings, right? How are you going to save me money? Where's that going to come from? What that's going to look like? We have a whole advisory services team. That's all they do. So most companies, they have, a platform with some good folks and things like that. We have a completely separate division. They just focus on right sizing contracts, auditing those things, mergers and acquisitions, how to put that money back in our customers' pockets.
Very cool. Do you have any recent examples of a customer you've worked on recently that's benefited from implementing Tango and kind of what some of those results would look like?
Yeah. So even in just talking, I think I just mentioned mergers and acquisitions. So a really large logistics company that it came on board with us last year. They had just merged with another fairly large logistics company, right? And so they're dealing with all the pain of those things, which is all these different systems, all these different contracts. They've got inventory they have to merge. They've got departments they have to merge. They've got spend out there under different contracts and all of those things happening. Meanwhile, they still have to get all that stuff processed and paid. They had three different vendors doing all of those things. It came to us. We consolidated the whole thing. We did a complete audit of all of their spend. And this was really across their mobile, their TEM, and their cloud.
Wow.
And we were able to come in and not only cut their costs by over $1 million in the first 6 months, but we were able
Wow.
to get everything under one vendor. And now they have one throat to choke, right? When they have something they need to get done, or they have a question on something, or hey, this was an escalation, this went wrong. They know exactly who they have to go to. And so we were able to take that, and then that story, they were able to, they're a publicly traded company. And so they're able to go out and now tell their shareholders, hey, look, this is how we're being good stewards of your money and all of those things that we said we would do. We're
Yeah.
putting stuff back for you. So it turned out to be, great success story there, but also something great for their shareholders as well.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Cool. Well, appreciate the time. We've been working with you for many, many years. We have a service we call TWSS or TEM Workflow Support Service. We have customers that we've sold Tango to where they don't have a staffed resource on their end to manage that environment. Obviously, Tango is going to have, a customer experience manager managing the relationship, but having a liaison on the client side. So we actually have staffed resources at Lava that can act as that for customers that want to deploy Tango or any TEM. I think a lot of times companies implement a TEM and expect all of the work to be done on their side of the house. Obviously, you're going to do what you said, but the customer then has to go and execute. And so we've been able to meet them where they are to provide that additional support. We've had a phenomenal relationship with Tango. So, really look forward to working with you guys the rest of the year and to infinity and beyond. So I appreciate the
Awesome.
time, Nate. That's all we got. Quick chat, but thank you very much, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.